Hi, welcome everyone. We're just going to let people join in for the next 2 minutes or so. So we'll go ahead and start the webinar around 11:03 a.m. All right, so I don't see anyone else joining. So that said, hello and welcome today, everyone, to today's webinar titled What's New in IBM Cognos, version 11.2 user interface, a comparison with version 11.1. I will be your MC for this session. Thank you all for joining the conversation. Before we get started, I'd like to review some of the webinar functionalities. So during the webinar, everyone's microphones will be muted, but we really want this to be an open discussion. So if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to use the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. There will be a dedicated Q&A after the presentation as well. Today's webinar is being recorded and a copy will be sent to all registrants by the end of the week. Today as our speaker, we have our very own Vinay Gupta. Vinay has been training IT professionals since 1990 and has been a trainer with ExitCertified since 2016. He is a specialist in IBM products and holds numerous IBM certifications in exam development and analytics. With this said, Vinay, please take it away.
Thank you so much, Hilary. Thank you very much. So welcome, everybody. So a webinar standard is a little bit smaller one, but that's good that we'll be able to have more questions. But before I go ahead, I would like to get an idea of where everybody in the webinar is, because this is a very directed webinar towards just a comparison of the interface to see how it has changed from 11.1 to 11.2. So I would request Hilary to conduct a couple of polls to know the makeup of the audience. So Hilary, if you can please bring up the polls and let us see where everybody is.
Yes, I'll just launch it right now. So if everyone can go ahead and just answer those two questions so that we can get a sense of where everyone is today. Okay, so I can see like 13. I think one more person needs to fill it out, so we'll give them a little bit more time. All right, and I'll go ahead and end the poll now.
Okay, so half of you are on 11.1, 1/3 are on 11.2, and about 23% are using none of the above. Means either you are on version 12 or you are on version 10. So if you're on version 12, that is good news because version 12 interface is very near to 11.2. But if you're on version 10, then it would be a little bit different for you because from 10 to 11, IBM did do a big interface change. So if you're on version 10, then this might be a little bit more for you to grasp because the things have changed completely from 10. And I see that about half of you again are beginners, comfortable, and again, about quarter of you are experts. So those of you who are at the expert level and are on 11.2, I would say that this webinar may not be able to give you too much new because by now you would have already figured out the things which have changed if you're already on 11.2 and you're expert. But if you're on 11.1 and you are at the expert level, you'll be very quickly able to see when the slides come in what has changed. So without further delay, let me move ahead with this webinar. So what we are going to do here is we will talk about what has changed in 11.2 now, and mainly concentrating on interface changes, but we will talk about a little bit about the feature changes or the new functionality which have been added. Now, on this slide, I would like to say whatever I'm going to talk about has changed in 11.2, but that's not all which has changed. So whatever I'm discussing is a new feature, but we are not discussing all the new features. There are many other new features also. So it's a subset of the new features, but the interface changes, I will definitely like to go through and show you what has changed in 11.2. So 11.2.x is the long-term support release in version 11. After this, IBM has gone to version 12. So if you are going to be on version 11 for quite some time to go, then 11.2.x, to be precise, 11.2.4 is the last version which has been released, which will be the long-term support release for version 11. So the parts of this webinar will talk about organizational changes, the way things have been arranged, then visual changes in the tools, toolbar, toolbox. There's not too much ton of change, but the look and feel has changed a little bit. So we'll talk about that. And then we'll talk about certain new capabilities, such as subset of new capabilities. We'll talk about what has changed for visualizations, some new visualizations available, some properties, new properties have been available. Then reporting, we'll talk about certain feature changes in reporting. So in reporting, we'll see some filter capabilities have changed, some way the administrator can control that has changed. And then in data module, we'll talk about certain changes in data modules also. That is what we will talk about in this webinar. So first, the welcome panel changes. So here is what 11.1 looked like. And I would show you in a minute what 11.2 looks like. So main thing is on the left side, what you see here was the sidebar. Now, these things which are in the sidebar are there in 12 also, but they don't look the same. So we see that there was a switcher menu in the middle that has also changed. On the right side, what you see the 3 dots, that has changed. And in the middle bottom, you saw a quick launch bar. So when you dragged a file, the quick launch toolbar appeared in 11.1. In 11.2, when I bring that up, you will see the look and feel has changed quite a bit. So in 11.2, now we don't have the side panel. Instead, we have got a small hamburger menu. And one thing which has changed is on the welcome page itself, we have got search capability available. Now, this search capability remains available throughout. When you're working in different tools, this blue bar remains on the top and would show you the search capability. So you can do search anytime when you're working in the tool. In the 11.1, that capability did go away. So if you are in reporting, the search capability was not available on the left side. The sidebar did change. At the bottom, the quick launch, which is having different options available, uploading the data, making explorations, and presenting the data, preparing the data as data modules, presenting the data could be a report or a dashboard, making, you can say, explorations, and uploading the data also is available in the quick launch. Now, this welcome panel, which you see where watch, video, etc. is there, this is the welcome panel, which you can set for yourself. If you want to see that welcome panel or you don't, everything else still remains. In 11.1, you could only set, I don't want to see the welcome page. So you were taken directly to the content page. So that is what 11.1 to 11.2 welcome pane has changed. Then the reporting interface changes. In 11.1, this was the reporting interface. It looks very similar, but main thing what you will see is in the reporting interface, we've got two bars on the top. So we got the navigation bar, and we have got the undo, edit, etc. In the blue bar on the top. Pay attention to what we see here, the three horizontal dots. They have changed to vertical dots in 11.2. And also pay attention to this small icon on the right-hand side, which was manage icon. It's still there, but it has changed. And it has become quite, you may say, inconspicuous. So it sometimes hides. So you're looking for this. You may not be able to figure out, well, it is there. But and as I said, many of you are experts, so they would have figured out by now where it has gone. And another thing which has changed in the interface is everywhere where you see the properties or questions with yes or no, they have changed from yes or no to a slider button type. And also the icons have changed. You will notice the change in the toolbar, which I will explain on a slide also a little bit later. And the icons on the top of this insertable objects also have changed. So this is what 11.2 looks like now. You see the search capability is available in the tool also, which was not there in 11.1. And the switcher menu from the middle has been shifted to the left side. And you see here, the edit icon has changed. And also the properties, yes or no properties have changed from yes or no to a radio button, easier to work with. And the icons for above the insertable object, they have changed. The sources has got a different icon. The toolbox has a different icon. And you see the toolbar looks quite different. Now, apart from the icon with the gear kind of shape has now become this. It has become 3 dots. And you will see that the lock icon has also changed. So these things have changed in the user interface. It looks pretty similar, but small things here and there when you're trying to look for certain properties and you're trying to look for certain icons, that is different in 11.2. Next, the toolbox changes. Now, there are not too many changes in toolbox, but definitely you will see that the icons have changed. Same thing. If you hover your icons, you will see the same thing, but it has changed. In 11.2, the default view of the toolbox has changed to icons from list. Now, in 11.1 also, there was an icon available from where you could switch to the, you can say, icons for the toolbox, which will give you very similar look and feel, but the default has changed in 11.2. And 11.2 also, you can go to the list view if you want it. All the folders are same, but you will notice that there is a new folder added at the bottom, which is for developers. Now, through the developer folder, you are able to present and test certain visualization which you're trying to create. And you want to make some, you can say, spatial visualizations. You can do that through the developer folder. So there are 2 placeholders available where you can plug in the development which you do and work with reporting tool using this developer folder. Then on-demand toolbar changes. Now, of course, all the icons are there, but some icons have changed more than others. For example, in 11.1, this pin unpin icon, the arrow is pointing upwards. And when you click on this, it unpins your toolbar. In 11.2, it points downwards. So in 11.1, if you click on that unpin icon, then the arrow would point in a different direction. But that is what has changed in 11.2. Look at the paste icon. Changed quite a bit. Fortunately, the place of the icons is very similar or same. So it is easy to figure out what is there, but it would take you some time. So the purpose of this webinar is to just make the things a little bit more easier. I'm sure if you were given 11.2 right away after 11.1, you will be able to figure it out what is there. But we are trying to present here the changes where we see the most significant changes. So the changes are in the calculation icon, and the group icon, which we use very, very often, has changed in shape quite a bit to recognize what the group icon is going to be. The font icon has changed significantly. So if you are used to looking at the big A for the font, that has changed in shape. Another thing, the format icon, the shape has changed quite a bit for that also. Now, I think the endeavor of IBM is to make the icons more in line with other software like Word, Excel, PowerPoint. This icon you will be familiar with, which is Format Painter. So in previous version, it was called like that. It's also a brush, but doesn't look too much like a brush. So I think they have changed those things. And all the horizontal 3 dots have changed to vertical 3 dots. In the previous version, some places IBM used to use vertical, some places horizontal. So I think they have tried to handle that functionality and keep it more consistent. So all the 3 dots are now vertical instead of horizontal. So what I will do, I will bring up a live environment in 11.2.2 because that is where the courses have been released by IBM, and show you these changes so we can look at those ourselves. So what you see here is the menu on the top left-hand side, the open menu. From there, you can go to new, upload new files, and you can, when you click on content, you will see a new tab opens up with, let me log in. That was actually auto log off. So here, if I click on here, and if I go to content, it opens up the content in a new tab. And from here, you are able to see the my content, team content, sample, etc. This work folder, this has been configured by me to show as a folder for Frank Breton, for authors. So you can create a folder for yourself, and then as an administrator, set it to show as a tab for certain roles. So that is what is the new functionality added. In 11.1, you were able to set specific folders, but they did not show up as tabs when you log in to your environment. So you can set that in 11.2. The search functionality is available on the top right-hand side. And one more thing which you will see, apart from the new menu where I've got upload files, I also have that available on the screen. On the top right-hand side, you will see upload files icon is available. And that icon remains available to you no matter what folder you are in. So let us say I will navigate to, let us say, samples folder. You see the upload file icon still remains available. That means the new functionality in 11.2 is that you can upload the file to any folder. Up till 11.1, once you upload a file, by default, it was only loaded to your My Content. And then if you wanted to make it available to other users, you had to copy or move that file to a different team content folder. So now you have an ability to upload to any folder directly if you want to. So this upload facility remains available to you no matter where you are navigating. So closing that, if I close that, I'll come back to my welcome page. Now I said the welcome panel. So the personal menu has also changed. In 11.1, you had this profile and setting and the settings, my inbox, etc. as 2 tabs. Now here you need to go to profile and settings, and that brings up the setting for you. So in the settings, you will see welcome banner is on. If you don't want to see the welcome banner, which is the top black portion, you can switch it off from here. Everything else is pretty much the same. The only thing is the organization has changed from 11.1 to 11.2. So you are able to change your profile and settings. So I will just bring up 11.1 also, and just for the comparison's sake, show you. So if I am logged in, and if I click on the personal menu here, oh, I need to log in again here. Let me do that. I kept this environment running for quite some time. It auto logged me off. So here, if I click on this, so I see my preferences. So that was available. So if I go to my preferences, that is where I saw journal, personal. So the arrangement has changed a little bit, but things are pretty much the same. So you can set whatever setting you could do. It is the organization which has changed. So that is what is changed from, and the quick launch toolbar, as I said, that was available to you, and you could drag a file here that the quick launch toolbar will show up. So that was about the interface changes, but let me bring 11.2 again and show you the reporting interface changes. So if I click on new and I click on report. So the one thing that changed is when you select a template, instead of OK being at the bottom, they have made it create on the top. Very small, subtle changes in the interface, but these are changes nevertheless. And also one thing which is different in reporting interfaces, when you start with a blank template, it does not give you that plus sign in the middle. Instead, it has got defined various widgets which you can add. Select a widget type instead of calling it data container or just showing you those 6 things around a plus sign. They have changed the, and this only shows up in the, a blank page template when you start with that. So I'm going to select a package. So everything else looks very similar, but when I click on toolbox, you see that by default, it comes in the icons, but I can change it to other view if I wanted to. And on the top, the edit or non-edit mode also is through a small button. So when I add a list here, and then you see the various properties, a yes or no, have been shown as the slider button. So that is the interface changes. And so when I try to add an object, the toolbox, of course, is dynamic. It will show you different options based on what you have opened up. So that was about the interface changes. Now we're talking about some feature changes in 11.2. It's a subset, as I said. So first, new visualization. So we got 2 new visualizations available. Box plot is available and radar visualization is available. These are 2 visualizations added in 11.2. The box plot can show you outliers. So once you have your data, you'll be able to see the outline data very clearly in a box plot. Radar is for displaying performance. And with radar visualization, you are able to see how different categories are doing vis-a-vis others. Now, this one showing labels in local languages in map visualization is a new feature added. So when you use a map visualization and you say, show labels in local languages, now what does that mean? It does not mean the complete content would change. It would show in the Russian region, it will show the names in Russian language. In US region, it will show in English. In France, it will show in French. So the labels will show in the local languages in map visualization. Dashboard footer, a default footer will automatically appear without you doing anything, which says that the data is provided by IBM DB2. But that only happens if at least one visualization on the dashboard uses DB2 data source. So if you're using files, if you're using some other databases, this footer would not show up. But in case any one visualization on your dashboard is using DB2, then you will see that default footer would show up at the bottom. In map visualization, you can also change the type to 3D hex bin, which will show you your data in, you can say, hex bin bars. And if I was to just explain what it looks like those, you can say, lava bars or something which are hexagonal in shape, and the height represents the value of the measure. So I will quickly go and will show you these. Of course, will not be going into the, you can say reporting per se. I will close this report and will open a dashboard. And if I wanted to go for visualizations, you will see here that the visualizations are available to us. There is a box plot and a radar visualization available. There is radar visualization available, and there is a box plot visualization. But I'm going to add a map visualization to this. And once I add a map visualization, and I click on properties of the visualization points layer. So here is the type. When I click on type, it gives me hex bin. So that type will change your data to be shown in hex bins. But that functionality is available from 11.2.2 onwards only. Before that, it was not available. So the properties which we discussed, some of them are available in different point releases. So that is what you can add in your chart visualization. But let me just go ahead and add for you. Now look at one more thing. The toolbar on the top, the two toolbars have been combined into one, so that you always have the search functionality available even when you are in the tool, but you're working in the tool. So here is your switcher menu has gone from the middle to the top bar, but you will have here undo, redo, etc. And the properties you are able to work with in a single toolbar on the top. So let me show you the other visualization also in a report. So when I select visualization here, you will see box plot visualization is available and radar is available. So these are the two new visualizations which I talked about are available to you to add it into a report or a visualization. Now going back to the footer, which I wanted to show you, I will just add a widget to a dashboard. And let me add a list widget. And in this, or instead of doing that, let me select some fields from here. See here, so once I add the visualization, so no matter what visualization comes in, the footer appears at the bottom, which says the data on this dashboard is provided by IBM DB2. So that will appear only if the data source which you're using is using IBM DB2 database. So that is what the changes about the visualizations was. Now in reporting, there are two new themes available, Carbon X Light, Carbon X Dark. So these are IBM themes which you can add, and these are not templates, these are themes. Now, one more thing which is available is select and search prompt is now available for reports made with data modules. Now let me give you a background here. Now, since, I don't know if you've noticed it or not, so since version 10.2, 10.1, IBM has been adding features which are more business author friendly. So any author which wants to create their reports and does not have technical background, IBM has been adding features so they are able to add and create reports for themselves. So they added a feature for creating a filter, which was custom based on data item filter, which was introduced in version 10. And using that, the business authors could just drag and drop and select the data items and make a report using filters without actually writing SQL. But that filter was not available. Certain select and search filter prompt was not available for any report which uses data modules. And data modules is also an online modeling functionality. So now when you make a report using a data module, which you might have modeled yourself as a business author, you can use a select and search prompt for those reports also. Now, new custom filter capability available. Now, the custom based on data item filter, previously, you could only select individual items to filter on. But now you are able to do this custom filter based on a condition, which adds more functionality for business authors. So custom filters based on data item and combined filters can now use condition-based expressions. Now, donut visualization created from a pie. So if you use a pie visualization, you can control the size of the hole in between to make a donut visualization from there itself. So let me show quickly those functionalities to you in a demo in 11.2. So, okay, to show you the themes, let me go back again. So on this page itself, once you see the themes, you have got Carbon X Light and Carbon X Dark, two more themes available. So once you use a theme, it does some auto coloring if you are used to those themes. So these two new themes have been added. Templates are pretty much the same. You can make your own template if you want to. And I would add a list to this report. So when I try to create a filter from there, and I create a new filter, custom based on data item or even combined filter. So when I say combined filter and I first choose product line, so here is an option available. This was available in the previous version. I could only select individual values, but now I'm able to add a condition also. So when I click on condition, it allows me contains, starts with, ends with, matches SQL pattern. So if I say contains and I put here, let us say accessories. And here also I can say exclude or I can keep. So this functionality is still available. So when I click OK, it will say product line contains accessories. And I want to add another condition after this. And I want to do it on product type maybe. And a product type, I say also accessories, let's say. And by default, they are added with and. I can say or. And hopefully, I'll still get data from this report. So when I run this report, I get everything in product line, which contains accessories. But you will see golf equipment does not contain accessories, but product type contains accessories. So I'm able to do it based on conditions. Of course, with advanced filters, we could always do that. So that is available. But now even the business authors are able to do this for themselves. So that is a functionality added. So business authors are able to take more advantage of the reporting. So let me add a visualization to this. And when I select pie visualization, so I've got two available, donut and pie. But if I start with a pie visualization, I'm able to change the donut hole radius. So if it is 0, this means it's a full pie. I can give it in points, 0.2 based on the pie radius, 0.2 times will be the donut hole, 0.3, 0.4, I can do that. And if I start with donut, it is by default 0.5 pie, but I can control. So this functionality, if you're having a pie in visualization, you can change it to a donut if you want it. So those are the functionalities which I wanted to show you in the reporting application. So there are some others which I may not be able to show you because they are in the later versions or point releases. So here is in 11.2.3, you are able to get more granular report control. As admin, you are able to set who can edit a burst definition, who can edit HTML items, user-defined SQL, or generate burst output, run HTML items, run the report. So you are either able to run or even make. So it gives you more control. Previous version, 11.1, you can only say some user can use HTML or bursting or user-defined SQL. So once you say that, they can edit it, they can get the output from there. So it gives you more granular control in 11.2. Maps and other visualization will be now rendered in PDF and Excel formats also. So there's a new image service added in 11.2, which lets you have those visualizations rendered in PDF and Excel formats also. There is also a conversion of Query Studio reports to analysis and analysis to reporting. So you are able to do mass migration. So it gives you help to migrate your older content if you're using Query Studio, because Query Studio has been sunset. So if you're using Query Studio, you have reports with Query Studio, you are able to convert multiple reports together to reporting formats. Data modules. Now in data modules, it has become easier to create and maintain navigation paths. This is a folder available in data modules where you can add multiple navigation paths. Now this is a functionality added. For some standalone calculations, you are able to do data grouping. So previously for calculations, data grouping was not available. It was only available for data items which are in your package. So now you can do a calculation in your data module and then can also specify grouping for that. The only caveats are if the data type of that calculation is set to numeric or string, you are able to show and get data groupings done for that. But the aggregate property must be set to none. And you are able to do both text style grouping as well as numeric style grouping. Now this as of date parameter, it was available in 11.1 also. You could do that as of date parameter, which could be a global parameter, and your authors could use those global parameters to, have your analysis done, and even the relative date analysis could be done based on the as of date parameter. But now you are able to, and this has been a demand from since I've been teaching 10.2 or something. People used to say, when I use a parameter, can I use a dynamic date there? For example, current date or a calculation for a date. That is now available with as of date. You are able to specify dynamic date. So as of date can automatically change to current date or last date of the month. So you are able to do that in 11.2. So this is what the new features are, but you must have, IBM has released a revised Gregorian calendar, which you need to download and install in your environment. Only then you'll be able to specify the dynamic date for as of date parameter. Now that's what I wanted to show you all. And the next slide, I would like Hildy to take over so that she can talk about certain courses which are available to us. There are instructor-led courses as well as self-paced courses for 11.2.x.
Yeah. I can go ahead and put some of those links in the chat so you guys can kind of take a look at what we have for our IBM Cognos instructor-led courses, as well as the self-paced. So I'll go ahead and post those in the chat.
Okay, these are the latest 11.2 courses available to you if you are interested in joining. But good news is that we have got promotions available. I'll let Hilary to speak to that also.
Yeah, so we currently have our summer promotion currently running. So right now you can get up to $500 off both public or private training, save $100 on a one-day course, up to $400 on a 4-day course, and $500 on a 5-day course. And then also save 10% on learning subscriptions, on-demand, and self-paced courses. Just go ahead and go to our website and enter promo code EBSCO500. I can go ahead and put in the link for more information for that as well. All right, so just posted that on the chat. All the courses that I pasted on before for IBM can also be applied towards this promotion.
Okay, and last slide for today. Thank you everyone for attending. Submit your question in Q&A and the box on the right. Hilary, would you like to speak to that also?
Yeah, so everyone that attended is automatically entered to win for the free one-day class for the overview of IBM Cognos Analytics for version 11.2. So we will select one winner from all the attendees that participated today, and we will notify them via email by the end of day tomorrow.
Okay, so if there are any questions coming in Q&A, we definitely can address those. If there are no questions, then I am thankful to all of you for joining, and hopefully you were able to get something new from this webinar. If you're fairly new to Cognos, you might have, but if you are expert, you might have just enjoyed your time.
So we did have one come in from Leon. So what is the preferred browser for creating and editing reports?
Well, there's no preferred browser per se. The Chrome works very good. Chrome and Firefox, I've been using it for a long time. Even Edge now works with the later versions. But if you go to the supported environments, you will be able to see exactly what browsers are supported, but there's no preferred browser per se. If it is certified supported by Cognos or IBM, then it would work equally well.
Okay, and I don't see any more. Okay, one more. We saw the selection of developer in a screenshot. Where does it appear in Report Studio?
Oh, the developer, once you add a visualization, because it is due with visualization, when you add a visualization and you click on the visualization toolbox, then you will see the developer section.
Right, and I see no more questions coming in. So with that said, thank you all so much for attending and have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vinay.
Thank you.